Good morning to my dear and near IBPNs, the students of Standard 9th. दोस्तों, मैं आज आपके लिए लाया हूँ सोशल साइंस का लेसन नंबर 10, ऑर्गन्स ऑफ गवर्नमेंट। अरे देख क्या रहे हो यार, नोटबुक निकालो, टेक्स्ट बुक निकालो, पेज नंबर 73 खोलो और तैयार हो जाओ लेसन नंबर 10 को समझने के लिए, ऑर्गन्स ऑफ गवर्नमेंट। दोस्तों, मैं जो भी समझाऊं और आप मोबाइल के स्क्रीन में जो भी देखें, प्लीज मेहरबानी करके आप नोटबुक में उसके पॉइंट्स नोट डाउन करते जाएं और उसको समझते जाएं। ठीक है, तो चलो शुरू करते हैं लेसन नंबर 10, ऑर्गन्स ऑफ गवर्नमेंट। Let's understand the title first, organs of government. Now, what is the meaning of organs? Dear students, as we have different organs, body organs in our body, means legs, eyes, ears, the same way government also has its own organs. The function and the structure of leg, the function and the structure of eyes are different. The same way, government has different organs. Now let's start. There are 3 organs. Major, how many organs? There are 3 organs of the government. The first one is the legislature, second is the executive, and the third is judiciary. My dear friends, please remember, what is the first organ, major organ? The first is legislature, second is executive, and third is judiciary. And we shall study in detail the information of all these 3 organs of the government, their powers and functions and interpersonal relations. See, in this lesson we shall understand the power of the government. What can government do and what government takes a decision, and we shall understand about the functions of the government as well as the functions of these 3 organs. What are the functions of legislature, what are the functions of executive, and what are the functions of judiciary, as well as their interpersonal relationship. Whose interpersonal relationship? The interpersonal relationship of legislature, the interpersonal relationship of executive, and interpersonal relationship of judiciary. Means the relationship of legislature with executive, the relationship of executive to judiciary, and relationship of judiciary to direct legislature. So this is called interpersonal relationship. One of the main objective of the nation is to maintain law. So these are objectives. So what is the first objective? To maintain law and order and thereby achieve the welfare of the function, and at the same time to nurture and to protect the freedom and fundamental rights. देखो, भारत सरकार की एक सबसे महत्व कार्य ये है कि हर एक नागरिक को क्या देना? फ्रीडम देना, और हर एक नागरिक का जो फंडामेंटल राइट्स हैं उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना. यस, दिस इज मेन इंपॉर्टेंट टास्क ऑफ इंडियन गवर्नमेंट. फॉर द प्रोग्रेसिव डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द स्टेट, it is necessary that all the 3 organs of the government, vice versa, legislature, executive, and judiciary work in mutual unity, cooperation, and coordination. So these 3 words are very important: mutual unity, cooperation, and coordination. तीनों organs के साथ, means legislature, executive, and judiciary, all these 3 organs must have unity, they must have coordination, and they must have cooperation also. And without the cooperation, coordination, and unity, the legislature can't do anything, even executive organ also can't do anything. So there must be cooperation and coordination so that the government can run its administration effectively and efficiently. तो ही जो coordination होगा गवर्नमेंट के ऑर्गन्स के साथ, तो ही इफेक्टिवली और इफिशिएंटली गवर्नमेंट काम कर सकेगी ना, वरना गवर्नमेंट विल बी फेल. द लेजिस्लेचर frames the laws, the executive implements the frames law and the judiciary maintains law. These three words are important again. तो लेजिस्लेचर क्या करती है? तो लेजिस्लेचर frames the law, executive implements the law and judiciary maintains the law and order by punishing the people who violate the law. एंड जो भारत देश का कोई भी नागरिक ये कायदे कानून का वायोलेट करता है तो उसको पनिश करता है. द लेजिस्लेचर एज पर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया कंसिस्ट ऑफ अ पार्लियामेंट एट द सेंटर एंड लेजिस्लेचर असेंबली एट द स्टेट लेवल. द एग्जीक्यूटिव एज पर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया कंसिस्ट ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट, द प्राइम मिनिस्टर एंड द कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर. सो इफ वी डिस्कस इन डिटेल, so constitution of India consists of a parliament first at the center, means at Delhi, and the legislative assembly at the state level. जो हमारे राज्य सरकार की बात है वहां पे लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली होती है, जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं, विधानसभा, और जो दिल्ली में होती है उसको हम क्या कहते हैं, पार्लियामेंट. सो प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस टू वर्ड्स ऑल्सो. The executive as per the constitution of India consists of the president, the prime minister and cabinet minister and their administrative system at the center, and the governor, the chief minister and his cabinet minister system at the state level. Whereas in the judiciary, the Supreme Court is at the top. हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट जुडिशरी की बात करें तो सबसे टॉप पे कौन है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट. ओके. और स्टेट लेवल की बात करें, यानी कि गुजरात सरकार की या गुजरात राज्य की बात करें, हर एक राज्य से, राजस्थान हो, आंध्र हो या केरला हो, ऑल स्टेट्स दे हैव देयर ओन हाई कोर्ट्स एंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज ओनली वन. सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज ओनली वन situated at Delhi, and every state has its own high courts and states. And at the bottom there are subordinate courts. Subordinate courts are situated at district level. हमारे जिले, यानी कि आनंद की बात करें या अहमदाबाद की बात करें या महसाणा की बात करें, तो ऑल डिस्ट्रिक्ट हैव देयर ओन कोर्ट्स and they are called subordinate courts. Thus the judiciary is a separate judiciary. हम if I explain the word in a very simple word, जिसको कहते हैं हम न्याय तंत्र. क्या कहते हैं इसको हम? जुडिशरी को कहते हैं न्याय तंत्र. तो हमारा न्याय तंत्र जो है वो कैसा है? इट्स अ सेपरेट, इट्स इंडिपेंडेंट and organized whole which is completely apart from legislature and executive. ये बहुत ही ध्यान में रखें. once again I repeat, judiciary is a separate, independent and organized whole which is completely apart from legislature and executive. India is a union of states. No state is completely independent and sovereign. The Indian parliamentary system has divided the powers according to the principles of division of powers between the center and the state, such as the legislature and the executive is totally interdependent on each other. What does it mean? Means the state government is dependent on central government, and central government also it keeps rules and regulations, keep in mind the situation of the state, so they are interdependent. Whereas the judiciary is separate. Judiciary has nothing to implement anything keeping in mind any criteria, so it is completely separate, independent and impartial organ. Okay, then the next is principle of division of power. The government carries out the functions of the states and these are different from one another. The functions of all the three organs of the government are different, and all the functions require a certain expertise. All the three organs of the government should be administered by different people, and each organ should carry out its own functions. By division of powers, misuse can be avoided, and it is necessary to divide the powers among the three organs of the government in order to make the functions of the government easy and efficient. For example, the legislature has the power to formulate laws, but some powers are so given to the executive and judiciary that the legislature cannot misuse its power. Okay? Then similarly, the executive is controlled by giving powers to the legislature, and the judiciary is controlled by giving powers to the legislature and the education and the executive. First, legislature. India is a republic having a parliamentary democracy. The representation of the people at the center is seen at the parliament, and of the state is seen at in the legislative assembly. The parliament is an important and apex organization of the nation. Dear students, what is the meaning of apex organization? Means it is at the top organization of the nation. Which organization is at the top? Legislature at the parliament. Okay. The Indian Parliament consists of the President, the Vice President, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. These four are the main organs of legislature: President, Vice President, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Okay, and legislature is also of two types. The first one is unicameral legislature. What does it mean? When the legislature is consisting of one house, it is called unicameral legislature. And second is bicameral legislature. The meaning is when the legislature is consisting of two houses, it is called bicameral legislature. Two houses, what are two houses? Means upper house and lower house. आगे आएगा. At the central level, the upper house of the legislature is called Rajya Sabha. This is very important line. जो upper house है उसको राज्य सभा कहते हैं, and the lower house is called Lok Sabha. And at the state level, the legislature consists of the legislative assembly. At the state level, it is called legislative assembly, जिसको हम विधान सभा कहते हैं. And the legislative council also, but most of the states have only legislative assembly. States like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra also have legislative council. There are three names of the state: Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. They have legislative council. They have legislative councils too. Okay. Now, legislator at the central level means Parliament, Lok Sabha. My dear friends, this point is very important point. Please listen to very carefully and note down some points also in your notebook. Okay, let's start. Lok Sabha is the lower house. Lok Sabha is the lower house of the Parliament. The members of the Lok Sabha are the representatives of the people who are elected through direct election, and there are all 545 members at the Lok Sabha, and out of 545 members, 2 members are selected by the President from the Anglo-Indian community. Okay. Now, President is a part of the Parliament. The President addresses the first meeting of the Parliament and the joint session of the Parliament. Besides these two occasions, the President never attends the Parliament. This point is also important. The President of India, he never attends the Parliament, and the President can summon both the houses of the Parliament can withhold the proceedings of both the houses of the parliament and can even dissolve the parliament. President has lots of rights, my dear friends. He can dissolve the parliament also. He can summon both the houses at any time in emergency. A bill which has passed through these readings in both the houses of the parliament can become an act. दोनों हाउस में the bill which has passed through these readings in both the houses in the parliament can become an act and after the president's sign, यानी कि जो प्रेसिडेंट साइन करते हैं उसके बाद में वो बिल जो वो कायदा बनता है. And Lok Sabha is not a parliament house. Its term is of 5 years, and if it is not dissolved before the completion of the term, Constitution of India is supreme and not the parliament. Hence, the parliament has to enjoy the power within the limits prescribed by the Constitution. If the laws framed by the parliament violates the Constitution, they can be changed in the court. And if the court finds the framed laws against the provisions of the Constitution, the court can nullify the laws. Then the qualification of members of Lok Sabha. To be qualified as a candidate and to be elected as a member of Lok Sabha, he or she must be a citizen of India. So what is the first qualification? So he must be a citizen of India. Second qualification means he should be 25 years of age and he should not having any unsound mind or insolvent, यानी कि वो पागल नहीं होना चाहिए. Means he should not be an employee of any central or state government, यानी कि वो भारत देश का कोई सरकारी नौकर नहीं होना चाहिए. If and he must not be proven criminal and he must not be criminal also. So these are the qualifications to be the members of Lok Sabha. There should be a period of 6 months between two sittings of the parliament. A president can dissolve the Lok Sabha on the council of the Prime Minister. A member of any of the house of the parliament can attend the proceedings of the house and can vote in the same house. But a member of the cabinet ministry can attend the proceedings of both the houses of the parliament even if he or she is not the member of Lok Sabha. But if he or she is a member of the upper house, then he or she can vote in the house only. And state of Gujarat has representations of 26 members in the Lok Sabha. Yeah, this is important information. So how many members are representing in Lok Sabha from Gujarat state? There are 26 members. And then the term of Lok Sabha is of 5 years, but the president can dissolve it before that if needed. In case of national emergency, the term of the Lok Sabha can be extended for 1 more year. If 5 years are completed and if in emergency, so Lok Sabha term can be extended for 1 more year. And if the president dissolves the parliament, it cannot be challenged in court. Okay. The next point is quorum. Students, this is very important point. Quorum. This is very important term. Quorum is the number of members present in the house of the parliament, and it is the number of members present and working in the house out of the total number of members of that house. There are two houses, you know well, upper house and lower house. Quorum means how many members are there in the house. The minimum quorum of the Lok Sabha, minimum quorum of the Lok Sabha should be 1/10. 1/10 member. For example, कि suppose there are 554 members are there, so minimum 55 members should be present. And similarly, the minimum quorum of the Rajya Sabha too should be 1/10. 1/10 is the figure. Minimum members and 250 members in Rajya Sabha, so there should be 25 members must be present. This is called quorum. And suppose there are no 55 members in Lok Sabha, or there are no 25 members in Rajya Sabha, so the house is not possible. Now Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the parliament, and it is a representative house of all the states and union territories of India. There are in all 250 members in the Rajya Sabha. The members of the Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected by the members of the legislative assemblies of the state and the union territories through a member of equivalent representation. In all, 238 members of the Rajya Sabha are elected, and rest 12 members are nominated by the President of India. And these nominated members should be having special knowledge or practical experience with respect to literature, science, arts, culture, sports and social services. My friends, these 12 members, those who are elected by the presidents, they are having a practical experience in literature, science, art, culture, sports and social services. So these 12 members are the special members of legislature. Now, no person can be a member of both the houses simultaneously. यानी कि एक ही सभ्य अपर हाउस और लोअर हाउस दोनों का मेंबर नहीं हो सकता. Now, qualification of member of Rajya Sabha. The first qualification is to be qualified as a candidate and to be elected as a member of Rajya Sabha. He must be a citizen of India. First qualification, citizen of India, should be 30 years of age and must not of unsound mind and a criminal. These four are major qualification of members of Rajya Sabha. Means he or she should not be the government employee or taking any salary or holding any office or profit. And state of Gujarat has the representation of 11 seats in the Rajya Sabha. And Rajya Sabha is the permanent house. It cannot be dissolved, but 1/3 of its members retired every 2 years. So how many members are retired from Rajya Sabha? 1/3 members are retired every 2 years, and at the same number of members are elected. Thus, the tenure of the member of the Rajya Sabha is of 6 years. However, the members are eligible for re-election and re-nomination. Generally, both the houses of the parliament meet for 3 times a year. यानी कि एक साल में 3 बार. Means both the houses they meet 3 times in a year, and these meetings are called session. These meetings are called session. That is the budget session. First time when they meet, they discuss about budget, and in the monsoon season also they meet. That is called monsoon session, and they also meet, that is called winter session. The Vice President of India, by virtue of his office, holds the office or chairman of Rajya Sabha, whereas the Vice Chairman of the Rajya Sabha is elected by the members of the Rajya Sabha from among themselves only. The first chairman of Rajya Sabha was Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. So when India became free, Who was the first chairman of Rajya Sabha? Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. My dear friends, we have discussed a small part of the lesson. In our next video, we will discuss some more points. Thank you very much.